Alright guys, welcome to our today's episode. Today we'll be talking about what demand and supply zones. Alright, in our previous class we discussed about market structure, and I told you guys what market structure is. And I told you guys that market structure is just simply the way market moves. Market moves in a zigzag direction. It doesn't go in a straight line. For example, if the price wants to go to the north, it goes to the north, but moving in a zigzag direction, just like something like this. Okay, something like this. All right, that is market structure. So today we'll be talking about what demand and supply zone. Before we go into what we have today, in our next class we'll be talking about what order block and fair value gap. It is very important. Please, if you have not subscribed to our channel, do well to subscribe and turn on your notification bell, so that when we upload a content like this, you'll be able to get notified, and then you can go and watch it and help yourself in your trading journey. All right, so that is that. Now, demand and supply. What is demand zone? What is demand zone? When you hear the word demand zone, what comes into your mind? Now, demand zone is simply area where we are looking to buy an asset. Okay, I want to buy Bitcoin. You don't just go and buy Bitcoin anytime. No, you do what we call technical analysis. In your technical analysis, there's something called demand levels or demand zone. So you wait for price to come to that area, to that zone, before you do what? You buy. So at demand zones, the price is always what? Cheap. At demand zones, the price of that asset is always cheap. So you buy when it is cheap, and then you sell when the price has what? Risen. Okay, so that is that about what? Demand zone. And then supply zone is simply the opposite of demand zone. Supply zone is area where we are looking to what? Sell an asset. You want to sell Bitcoin, you're already holding Bitcoin. Maybe you bought Bitcoin of like $100 and you're holding it in your exchange, and then the current price of Bitcoin is now $1,000. It is what? Expensive. So at that range, at that area, at that price level, is good for you to do what? To sell. Okay, so you sell when the price is expensive. So selling is always done at what? A supply zone. Okay, so that is that about what? Demand and what? Supply. Now let me just use a structure to explain what I just said. Let me use a structure to explain what I just said. Just follow me. Let me clean all of this. Let me clean all of this. All right, now example of what? A demand level or demand zone. Now I told you market structure. I told you that price move in this direction, up, higher high, higher high, higher high, break of structure, break of structure, break of structure. Okay, now you can use a trend line to to further explain that the market is what? Bullish. This is a bullish market. All right, so trend line is just by joining the lows. You see now, so this explains that market is what? Bullish. Now when this is a high, okay, market retrace, break this high. All right, this is the previous high. Market break this high and form another higher high. Retrace again, break this previous high, form another higher high. Retrace again, break this previous high, form another higher high. This movement is what we call what? Market structure. Okay, but if you look at it, it is going in a zigzag direction, or some people call it Elliott wave, but yet it is what's going higher. You see now, so this is what? A bullish what? Market. A bullish market. Why is it bullish? Because it is what? Going upward. All right, so in a bullish market we look for what? Demand levels. You don't go in a bullish market and start looking for what? Supply level or supply zone. No, it is very wrong. It is in a bullish market you look at what? Demand zones or demand level. Now where is your demand levels? These are your demand levels. This low, these are your demand levels. These are your demand levels. Let me clean this one. And this, lastly, this low. So these are what? Your demand level. The lows are your what? Demand level. Why is it demand? You will stay here and wait until this price comes to this demand zones. You look for what? Opportunities to now buy the price upward. You see the point now? So these zones are what we call what? Demand zones. These are where you wait for price to retrace to before you look for opportunity to do what? To buy. You buy at what? Demand zones. So that is it. Then for bearish or supply zones, it is just simply opposite of what? The demand zones. So let's say a bearish market, let's break to the downside, break to the downside, break to the downside. You see how it's breaking to the downside. This is break of structure to the downside, break of structure to the downside, break of structure to the downside, break of structure to the downside. You understand? So when you use a trend line to join all these levels, you see that it is what? Going down. Alright? So now that it's going down, our supply zones are what? This area. This is supply zone. This is another supply zone. This is another supply zone. This is another supply zone. Okay? You see it now. So now, when you want to sell this in this market, you don't sell from anywhere. You always wait for price to retrace to a supply zone. Look for your confirmation before you sell and continue. You see now. So all these levels that I've marked out are what? Your supply zones. That is that for supply. It is directly opposite. Just opposite of what? The demand zone. So that is that about supply and demand. So guys, if there's any question concerning what I've just told you now, you can do well to put it in the comment section, because I always look at the comment sections and respond to every single questions there. Alright, so put it in the comment section and let me know. I will look at it and then I will answer the questions, and then I will even do a new video, a content concerning some of those questions where it is relevant. Okay, I will do those things so that you understand and follow the procedures one after the other. So that is it about today's class. If you have watched us to this point, please do well to also subscribe, turn on notification bell, and stay active, because it is very, very important. Whenever we post content, you will get notified. You will watch it. It will help you build your trading career and trading journey. Thank you very much for following us to this point. God bless you. I love you.